And welcome to another edition of Telling It Like It Is. I am Ralph Williams and my co-host and sidekick here, Leo Haggerty. Leo, how are you this morning? It's great to have you aboard.
I'm doing fine, Ralph. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Just got finished with my External Bum podcast on Blog Talk Radio. So we talk some sports there and get into some bums in sports.
There's a lot of them lately. That's
oh yeah. You're not the first person that told me that. Also, I want to our studio sponsors, First Line Consulting Services, 1-877-926-6982. Give them a call today. They will set you up with a website, and they will also set you up with a monthly payment that's low, and then on top of that, they manage the website and upload your videos. Call them today, First Line Consultant Services, 1-877-926-6982. We are in Studio B this morning here in Allentown section of the city of Pittsburgh. Excuse me. Wow, for some reason I got a frog in my throat. Also, I want to talk to you today about Sleep Pittsburgh, another one of our great sponsors. If you want to sleep and sleep well, call Sleep Pittsburgh, 412-462-7858. They have no credit check financing. They'll do it right on the phone or on their website, sleeppittsburgh.com. And for the best sleep tonight, check out their inventory. They have day beds. They have futons. They have lift chairs. They have all kinds of stuff, free delivery as well. So check them out today. Tell them you heard it right here. Sleep Pittsburgh, 412-462-7858, 8th Avenue in Homestead. Check it out. All right. Also, we have advertising and sponsorship for all my RW Media shows, including this one. If you're interested, please give Fred Schaefer a call, 412-354-0436. That's 412-354-0436, Fred Schaefer. All right, Leo, let's talk about the Donald Trump. He was arrested and put in jail, and he's been bonded out. What's your thoughts on this whole scenario here?
Well, I'll tell you what, Ralph, that had to be the greatest mugshot in the history of the world. I mean, I don't know if he practiced that, whatever, but I'll tell you what, this is crazy. And I said the other night that the Republican debate was a circus. Well, guess what? The Republicans are Barnum and the Democrats are Bailey. It's a circus all over. It's crazy. And now they're talking about using the 14th Amendment to keep him from running for president. Somebody better read that 14th Amendment. It says everything but President of the United States. It says Congress. And it says, well, someone who... It's inferred. And you know what? Inferred doesn't cut it. If it doesn't say president, they're going to have trouble trying to get that one to stick. But I'll tell you what, it's just another three-ring circus with Trump. And let's see what else they're going to indict him for now. He's up to 4. Maybe he'll get a fistful. Right, Ralph?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. But get this. He's making money on this. He's selling mugshot T-shirts. He's selling memorabilia. He's selling anything he can sell to make money on this whole thing. And that's the hilarious part of this whole thing. And you know what else? People are going out there and they're buying it. And they're voting for him. And they're buying it. And they're like, oh, I feel sorry for him. Well, you know what? I don't feel sorry for him at all.
You know what, Ralph? Was it P.T. Barnum that said a sucker's born every day? Well, or every minute? Well, guess what? The people buying those shirts, why don't you just burn your money? Because that's all that is.
Right.
It's crazy. It is just crazy.
Oh, it's ridiculous. You know what? I can't stand it anymore. And we've talked before on one of our other Telling It Like It Is shows that, this is really, like you said, a three-ring circus, and it's going to continue to be this way. I think our country's in trouble. I don't think we're going to be able to get a decent president in here. Mike Pence for the Republican Party. And it looks like Joe Biden might run again. I don't see anybody else other than Mike Pence of that Republican Party. being able to do anything. I didn't watch the debate the other night, but I did. I was told Mike Pence probably did the best of them all. What do you think?
Yeah, it's uh, the Vivek Ramaswamy or whatever, however you pronounce that. He's a character. He has a little bit of
Okay.
life, but I'm waiting for Trump to get on there and for him and Christie to go toe to toe, because that you can see Chris Christie is just waiting for Trump to show up.
Oh, he can't wait for Trump. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
he's
He's
the
really upset with him.
yeah, he's the only one that'll attack him, and the rest of them. And again, if you watch the debate, every time somebody said something anti-Trump, they got booed, which is crazy. But you know what, Ralph? You talk about making dumb decisions. How about Biden's advisors letting him go out to Hawaii, and now they're showing him falling asleep at a late night meeting? Well, guess what? If he left Washington, that's 7 hour difference. So he may have been up 20, 22, 24 hours. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock Hawaii time. That's 3 in the morning, body time.
Wow.
I cannot believe somebody in his group didn't say, hey, we don't want to do this, because we got a guy who's probably exhausted, which he was, once he
Oh, he
got there.
looks terrible. Leo,
Well,
he
yeah.
looks bad. Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Ralph, I can't disagree with that, because we saw the Joe Biden
Yes,
that
we did.
showed up at all the teachers' convention. Again, I was a teacher for 45 years. That was a vibrant, exciting Joe Biden. And again, everybody claims, what happened to Trump? Well, the Democrats put Trump in because they wouldn't let
Right.
Biden run as a sitting two-term vice president. They tried to push Hillary down everybody's throat. And two things with that. She had trouble beating an octogenarian in Bernie Sanders, who wasn't even a Democrat. He was an independent. And I had a bunch of friends of mine say, I had no trouble voting for a woman, just not that woman. And that was the key. And it was the perfect storm. Trump loses to everybody but Hillary, and Hillary beats everybody but Trump. It was a perfect storm for Trump to get
Oh,
in.
yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Excuse me. What took Hillary down was the fact that she. Hang on a minute. The fact that the Benghazi situation that took her down, and those emails. If those emails didn't circulate and Benghazi didn't happen, I think Hillary could have been our president, our first woman president. I really believe that to be the case. I really do.
Well, you know what, Ralph? I still don't know, simply because there wasn't a primary. It was just a coronation, and that doesn't cut it in the United States. We're going to see the Republicans go through it, and I'm waiting to see what happens when Biden has to debate Kennedy. And everybody
Yeah.
thinks, Joe. I think it's going to get interesting because, again, uh, this ain't the same Joe we knew 6 years ago,
No, he's
8 years ago.
exhausted.
Yeah,
He's totally out of control, and I think he needs to. I think it's time for him to go. I hate to say it, but this will be the first Democrat that's been a one-term president. The last one-term president I remember was George W. Or George Bush Senior. He was a one-term president.
yeah, and Trump. Yeah, so
Yeah, and Trump was. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right. Yeah,
then we go back, well, to Kennedy, because he couldn't run again.
right,
But
right,
you know what, Ralph? Here's the sad thing: if Trump can't run for whatever reason, and
right.
all of a sudden Biden can't run because of illness, health, whatever, who's Plan B for
Well,
either
there isn't
party?
one.
No, there's
There's
not.
not a plan B. No, no,
And
not
I
at all, Leo.
and I think the Plan B isn't even in the race yet. And I'll
No.
tell you what, I talked to a very good friend of mine who is a staunch Republican. You know, the one person they're afraid of running?
Who?
Michelle Obama. That,
Yeah, that could
yeah,
happen. Yeah.
yep,
If
it
she
could
runs, I
happen.
think she would get elected. She's a very well-spoken woman whose husband was president. He would be the first man, and that would be an interesting case. But you know, I'll tell you this much. I spoke to a congressman here when Trump first got elected as our president, or was running for president. Actually, his name was Mike Doyle, and there was plans to put the Democratic Party to put Senator Bob Casey here from Pennsylvania. Well, Casey didn't want it, and Casey was one of the most hated people of Trump. Trump hated Casey; couldn't if they didn't like him because everything Trump tried to put up there, Casey shot down. Like he wanted to take away food stamps and have a box food for per family every month. And get rid of food stamps. That was one of Trump's plans. So I mean, things like that Casey shot down. I think Casey would be a great president, but I don't think he wants to run. I really don't. I think he likes where he's at. He's in his own little cocoon, as they say. You know, you don't always have to be on top to be a good person. He's a good politician, has been for many years, followed his dad's footsteps. His dad was governor at one time here in Pennsylvania. I think he'd be a good candidate, but I don't think he's going to run. He didn't run last time. He won't run this time. It's going to be Kennedy against. It could be Kennedy against Pence or Trump. We're going to find out. I don't know about where Trump's popularity is going to go now. Although I think it'll stay the same. He's got this big group of people. The rock band Kiss.
Yeah.
No matter how bad Kiss is, everybody still follows Kiss. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they
Yeah.
had some changes in the group over the years. I've been following Kiss forever, and since I was 10 years old, I've been following Kiss. So what I'm saying is they've had some changes, but people still go to their shows. They still, because of Gene Simmons and because of Paul Stanley. But what's going to happen now is everybody still loves Trump. They still, no matter what he does, no matter what happens, Trump is still going to get elected, or something's going to, go in the favor of the people who vote for him. What do you think?
You know what? I'm going to go back and compare Trump to John Gotti, the mafia
I
chieftain in New
remember John
York.
Gotti. Yeah,
Well, but here's
yeah,
why. We used to call Gotti the Teflon Don because nothing stuck to him. Same thing with
stuck
Trump.
to him.
Nothing's
Right,
sticking to him. I
exactly.
mean, you're sitting here looking at the facts. You're looking at this. You're looking at that, and it just how can you still support this guy? It's crazy, but they still do. It's nuts.
Oh, but like I said, they crucified Hillary over those emails and that Benghazi thing. Biden with his son. I mean, but why are we not crucifying Trump for this stuff? I don't get it. It just it makes me, it makes my blood boil, and I just, it's unbelievable. You want to talk about some sports today, Leo? We can talk
Sure.
some
Yeah.
sports.
Let's.
You
It's
want to talk about college football?
absolutely. It's week zero. I think. Let me put out my final four for college football again.
Go
I'm
ahead.
looking at teams that have proven quarterbacks. Now, in no particular order. These are the teams I think that's going to make it. I think it's going to be Michigan, Clemson, Southern Cal, and
Uh,
LSU. They're my four. Now, there's a second group of four, and you got to look at Tennessee, you got to look at Alabama, you got to look at Georgia, just because the SEC is the toughest
right.
conference
They
up
are.
top.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm throwing Washington in that group because Michael Penix is the real deal at quarterback. So, all right, that's eight. Now, I got two others that are possibles.
Okay.
Wisconsin.
Yes.
Taylor Mordecai went from SMU to
Matt Matt Rule.
Wisconsin.
I'm sorry. Wisconsin's got Luke Fickle. I'm sorry.
That,
They have
yep,
Luke Fickle. I
yep.
got him
Luke,
mixed up with Nebraska. Nebraska's got Matt Rule. Yeah, that's
right.
right. Yeah.
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 Luke Fickle went up there, and scouts from NFL told Mordecai they want to see him against better competition than the AAC. So he took his 70 plus TD passes to Wisconsin. You combine that to Luke Fickle. Let's see what happens there. That's a possibility. And Florida State. Florida State's been down for so long. They've finally been building
Yeah.
up, building up.
They
Can they
finally got
beat?
a coach in Mike Norvell. He built Memphis up. Look what he did at Memphis, Leo.
Yep.
He was Memphis was nothing. They were nothing at all, and he built that program up. And now he's building Florida State up. They're going to be a good football team this year.
Yeah, and the game with Clemson could decide, who's going where and why for the college football playoffs. And the sleeper I have, the total sleeper, is Tulane. If Tulane
Yes.
runs the table and goes 13-0, it's going to be hard to keep them out. Here's why. I don't think we're going to see a Power Five undefeated team. I don't think we're going to see four of them. So
Right.
a group of 5, 13-0 team, where's that going to sit to 1-2 loss teams in the SEC, the Big Ten? That the committee's going to be in trouble. And I'll tell you what, Ralph, I'm going to politic right now. I should be on that committee. I should be on the committee.
Absolutely, because the politics of that is terrible. I
Yep.
mean, let's say, for instance, oh, by the way, Tom says good morning to both of us. He's a steady watcher of all RW media programs, and he listens to my radio show as well. So I
Thank
want
you, Tom.
Tom is a steady watcher. Anyway, what I wanted to say was, like, for instance, Pitt. Okay, if Pitt won every game this year and didn't lose a game, they still wouldn't crack the top 20, or they would be somewhere in the top 18 or whatever. This is college football. This whole system is terrible, and the way that the politics around this and the money and everything, it's ridiculous anymore.
Oh, it is. And I'll tell you what, when college football announces the new playoffs where they go from 3 games to 11 games and
Uh-huh.
the money they're going to make, there better be a piece of the pie for the players now. Because
Oh, absolutely.
if not, you're going to find some lawyers who are smart enough to go, hey, let's create a college football union. Boy, the NCAA wants no parts of that
Oh, no
because
way. No
that
way.
will really, really hurt. And again, my problem with the NCAA is they're either so arrogant or so stupid that after the O'Bannon case that they lost, they knew this was coming. Why did they not try to deal with the NIL? And it's crazy because I had uh, Gus Kattengill ask me on ESPN radio,
Hmm.
is the NIL good or bad? I said, it all depends who you talk to. If you talk to players, it's
That's
great.
right.
If you talk to administrators and coaches, it's bad because now you not only have to recruit the kid, you got to recruit the kid for 4 years to stay at your school. So yeah, it's especially with quarterbacks. That quarterback doesn't play as a freshman. He's gone. He's going somewhere.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Tom says I think the college football committee is too SEC biased. What do you think of that?
Well, yeah. And here's if I got on that committee, first thing I would do is say, okay, if you're not playing in your championship game, okay, that's 10 schools. And then you're talking about the group of 5. So that's 20 schools. If you're not playing in that game, that automatically disqualifies you from being in the Final Four.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
because you're not there. And,
Right.
somebody who could lose a game and you could just sit home and you could take advantage of that. Ohio State's a perfect example last year. Okay. They got to sit at home and just let everything else play out. Well, that's not right. If if you're going to do this right, and see, the SEC wanted to go to 12 teams because they think they're going to get 4 or 5 in there. No, 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 no. I want to see how the committee, and this is why I'm lobbying to get on there. How's the committee going to look at say, a 1-loss Wisconsin or a 1-loss Washington against a 3-loss LSU, Tennessee, or Alabama? How are they going to look at that?
Oh,
Again,
absolutely.
my
Absolutely.
thing, and I've asked this question, is it who you lost to or who you beaten? That's and I think if you lose a home game, you're automatically out. That
Oh,
shouldn't be allowed.
absolutely. Or
If you got
if you lose to some real sad team in like a Division 2 or something, you're really out. Like if you lose to
like
Wofford, like
Michigan when they lost to
Pitt's playing
Appalachian
Wofford
State.
next week. Yeah.
Yeah, like Michigan when they lost to Appalachian State. But
Right.
and again, that's like Alabama. Nick Saban was lobbying to get in. He said, "Well, we lost 2 games by a total of 3 points." I said, "Hey, Nick, guess what? You lost.
That's
That's a
right.
big L. You got 2 L's.
Yeah.
You're not in. Not going to happen." And
Right.
again, the committee needs to stop going. And this is what drives me nuts. You get some people and the media that'll go, "Oh, by the way, this is the eye test. I can see." No, 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 no. Let's go back. Your record is what you are. Bottom line.
All right. You're watching Telling It Like It Is here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and X platforms. My name is Ralph Williams, along with Leo Haggerty. We're here every Saturday morning now, 10:30 a.m. We have switched our day and time up. We're in the First Line Consulting Services Studios, 1-877-926-6982. Please call them today. We're in Studio B today. Please call them today for all your website needs, and they will upload all your videos and manage your website for one low monthly price. Also, I want to talk to you today about Hillcrest Farm in Richmond, Ohio, 740-346-5442 or 740-632-2894. And Hillcrest Farm, Ohio at gmail.com is their email. You can check out their website at www.hillcrestfarmsohio.com. They are now doing shipping, so check that out. They can ship right to your house, or you can go right to the farm. It's 45 minutes from Pittsburgh, right up the hill from Steubenville, Ohio, and it's not very far at all. Check it out. Give them a call today. You can take the kids there this weekend. All right, Tom
Hey,
says
Ralph,
college.
real quick. Let me jump
Go
in
ahead,
with
Liam.
one more sports thing.
Go
I don't
ahead.
know if you're seeing this, but a lot of these traditional rivalries,
Are
because
going
of
away.
these, yeah, Oklahoma State,
What happened to
Oregon,
Virginia Tech? What happened
right?
to
Well,
Penn State? Well, Pitt,
well,
West Virginia's back. All
yeah,
right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'll tell you what people don't realize: for those games to stick around, college football is going to have to go to 13 games, and here's why: teams are going to be forced to play 9 or 10 conference games. Okay, ADs will tell you we need 7 home games to cover
Right.
our nut. We need to do that to cover those non-revenue sports, all that other stuff. So again, if they're playing, let's say, a 9-game schedule, well, one year they're going to only have 4 home games. So if there's only 12 games, they're going to need 3 more home games. If they're playing 10, they're going to have 5 home games. They're going to need those that game 11 and 12.
Right.
They're not going to be able to play. Oklahoma's not going to be able to play Oklahoma State on the road and
No.
only have 6 home games. That's going to hurt their bottom line. So college football is going to have to take a quick look and say, hey, for this to happen, we got to go to 13 games. And again, then that puts the Penn State Pitt game
Pitt
back on the
game.
board.
Right.
It puts Pitt,
Right.
West Virginia. It keeps them
Right.
around. It keeps Oregon State. It keeps Oklahoma. People are going, well, what about Clemson, South Carolina? Guess what? There's a law on the books. They have to play each other. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, you
I
know
don't know
what?
how that's.
Our governor was going to do that here. One of our governors, I forget who it was. He went, or Corbin. It was Governor Tom Corbin.
Uh-huh.
He was going to do that. He was going to try to do a state law that says Pitt has to play Penn State, and Penn State made this big ruckus over this whole thing, and it just was a mess. Everybody thought that once Joe Paterno passed or stepped away from the program, they all thought that Pitt and Penn State were actually going to play together again forever. And now we got politics involved in this yet again. With all this BS with these rivalries. Auburn, Alabama. There's another good one. Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Texas. I mean, or Texas Tech and whatever. Those rivalries are over. A lot of them are not even happening anymore. Hang on a minute there. We have Tom says college football players generate millions of dollars for these programs. Tom says somewhat disagree with that about playing in championships. Hold on. Oh, okay. And then it says advertisers will look at these games as to how's the viewership going to be for the game. Who you are at the beginning of the season, you will not be the same at the end of the season. And then a lot of these rivalries have to deal with college ADs wanting to play each other. I do know that Michigan and Ohio State rivalry won't go away. Penn State and Pitt shouldn't play each other. Also, college football plays 13 games already. That's including the bowl game and whatever. So,
Yeah, they play 13 games, but they're not regular season games. So
no.
I'll tell you what, Ralph, for Tom's benefit, and this is what's going to be interesting. When they go to 12 teams next year, the first 4 get a bye, and then 5 plays 12, 6 plays 11, and all that.
Right.
Guess what? They can play that on campus. So Wisconsin at number 5, and let's say Tennessee at number 12, they're going to have to go to
Mhm.
Camp Randall. They're going to have to go to Madison, Wisconsin in January. Tell me
Right.
how that's going to be. I
Oh
can't
my
wait.
gosh.
I
Whoa.
can't wait to see these southern schools have to go to Happy Valley, have to go to Pitt, have to go to Columbus, have to go to
Columbus.
maybe
Yeah.
Minneapolis. Hey, welcome to the real world where you're playing against
Yeah.
the elements. There's an out, though. There's an out. They can schedule the game either at their home field or wherever they choose. So they could go indoors. They could go somewhere else, which I don't think is a good move. I tell you
Right,
what,
right.
if I'm Michigan, you're coming to the big house. I'm sorry. You're going to play outside, because I'm going to put 105,000 in there no matter what. So, yeah,
Well, how about
I,
you? How about UCLA and USC coming all the way out to Penn State and Michigan and places like that? They're in the Big Ten now. So I
yeah,
mean, you know,
yeah, next
so
year.
I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Can you imagine? Now, forget the football. Can you
right.
imagine if you're a basketball team and you got to travel,
Oh,
or you're a tennis team, or you're a softball team, and you got to fly L.A. to East? you got to
wherever,
go.
yeah,
You
yeah.
got to go to
East
Rutgers.
Egypt, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I get you.
yeah. We used to call it BFE, but I can't say that on the radio. But yeah, you got to go. You got to go play at Happy Valley. You got to go play at East Rutherford against Rutgers. You got to go to Maryland, play at College Park. I'm sorry. Think about that. That's 6,000 miles round trip. Somebody didn't think
Oh,
about this when it
absolutely.
happened.
Or a volleyball team or a
Yeah,
wrestling team. Like, in 2019, I had to go to Raleigh, North Carolina because my aunt died. And my mom and I and my sister had to go down and take care of her estate. I had to pit men's wrestling team on the flight going down and back. So, I
yeah,
mean, they were down there to compete against North Carolina State. And then they did I think they were doing some other stuff down there. I don't know how this college wrestling thing works. I don't get involved in it, but I mean, and they were on the plane coming back too. So
yeah, yeah. Obviously the minor sports, and I only use that in terms of financial. The non-football, the non-basketball, maybes, depending upon where you're at, they were not even in this conversation with the realignment, and that's a shame.
it is. You're exactly right. It is. It is a shame. No, none of these teams at all were in the conversation. It says here, Pitt, Penn State. Or well, all right. Hold on. I already did that one with the new college football format. Tom says the first round will be hosted at regional sites or should be, and utilize home field advantage. Tom also says that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Tell me what kind of, and you know what? The worst thing is, NCAA is going to get the money, even though you're
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
You're going to get expenses and all that. But I'll tell you what, we're looking at probably 1.5 to 2 billion. That's with a B, Ralph. $1 billion
Billy.
when they go
Right.
to this 11 game, scenario.
Oh, absolutely. One other thing too, I wanted to ask you was, what are your thoughts on the following former NFL players that are coaches? Trent Dilfer at University of Alabama, Birmingham, and then you have Deion Sanders up in Colorado. What do you think of these two guys? You think they'll make it or do anything?
Well, I think Dion's going to make it eventually, but the problem is this year he's not going to make it. If he wins 4 or 5 games, it's a great season because from what I understand, he's down to 75 players. Is that you can't play college football with that? We saw that at USF the last 2 years where they just
Right.
with COVID and that they were down to 75, maybe 80 guys, and phew, not that's not college football. That's for sure. I think Trent Dilfer's going to do okay. He's a stand-up guy. Uh, just again, both of them going to have to get their feet wet. You know, uh, Coach Prime out. Now he's in the Power Five. This isn't the black college
Oh,
football.
yeah, yeah. It's not
It's
Jackson
a whole
State,
different
right?
animal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see
Yeah, well,
what happens.
Jackson State made a lot of money, and I mean, it was crazy with him there, and he took that program and brought it up. They were in bowl games and everything. It was crazy, and then he bolted to Colorado, and so you know what he did? He did a Dennis Erickson. Remember when Dennis Erickson was
Yeah.
in Idaho, and they built a whole new facility for him. They gave him all this stuff he wanted, and then he bolted out and went to Arizona State and stunk up the joint down there too. So I
Yeah.
mean, so. Leo, thanks for being on the show as always, and we'll be back next week, everyone, here at 10:30 a.m. Telling it like it is with Ralph Williams and Leo Haggerty. One more sponsor I forgot, and I don't want to forget Draft 412. They had a great event on Thursday night, the Ryan Shazier Fund for I forget, I think a spinal cord injury or whatever. and I got to meet Ryan once again, and I got to meet some great dignitaries. Kevin Colbert, Steelers' former general manager, I got to meet him, and it was great. Some of the dignitaries I got to meet there. It was super duper. It was a great party by Draft 412 for the last preseason game of the year, which we didn't get a chance to watch because the establishment where it was at, they were having issues with their internet, and they had the NFL Network on instead of our local announcers like we asked for because we had the local game on. So we had to hear Atlanta's announcers, so that
And
was
they were
crazy.
crying, and they were crying in their beer. That's for sure, because the Steelers
Oh
pummeled
my
them.
gosh.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Hey,
what, Leo,
Ralph. Last thing. How did Mike Simsek do the other day on your show?
he did very well. Thank you. He did
Yeah,
very, very well. Yeah.
he's our guy that covers the Ravens and the Steelers. So anytime you need
Yeah,
him.
I'm sorry that I didn't send him the phone number and everything. That day, that show almost didn't go. My wife fell, and
Oh no
I had
no.
to take her to the hospital. But
Oh,
she's recovering, and fortunately for me, I was able to do the show. So,
all
or
right.
we were Smoking Jim and I were able to do the show.
All right, my
So,
friend. Well, I will see you next Saturday.
oh yeah, I'll be here next Saturday, Leo, and probably I'll be listening or watching on Wednesday with Peter if his back isn't hurting him. So but we'll see what happens with Peter on
Sounds like a
Wednesday.
plan.
So, oh yeah, until next Saturday. This is Telling It Like It Is. I'm Ralph Williams. Everybody have a great night or a great afternoon and a great weekend. Thank you and have a good one. And thank you, Leo. I'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Hey,
All
college
righty.
football. Go watch it.
Oh, you know it. All right, that was Leo Haggerty, my co-host here on Telling It Like It Is. One last thing before we go, uh, get on Draft 412's website. They give you the skinny on everything you need in regards to anything in sports. Draft 412 has a comprehensive staff. They've been on my Sports Corner radio show, and they have been on several of my shows, and they're also a sponsor of all RW Media production shows. So Draft 412 has a magazine which they will send to your email at $9 a month, which is very, very affordable. So check that out as well. I'm Ralph Williams for Leo Haggerty. Until next Saturday, telling it like it is. Have a great one.